Today's show, Critic Show, is going to be about the movie 7 Pounds, starring Will Smith. That trailer really is interesting, isn't it? I don't know if you've seen it before on TV or just right here on our show, but I think when I saw that trailer for the first time, I thought I really want to check out this movie because it kind of leaves you in a little bit of suspense as to what's happening. And basically, I was able to get an early review of this movie in. The movie 7 Pounds comes out December 19th by Columbia Pictures, and it's directed by Gabriel Muccioni. And by the way, if you saw 2 years ago in 2006 the Will Smith movie The Pursuit of Happiness, where he and his son Jaden kind of starred in that movie about the down and out man and what happens to him in his life, and really he got a lot of accolades for that movie as a dramatic role. Well, the same team put together this movie 7 Pounds. The movie stars, and you saw a little bit of that in the previews, but it stars Will Smith, of course. It stars Rosario Dawson, who I'm sure you're familiar with many of her films. Barry Pepper is in this movie as one of his good friends, and Woody Harrelson has a good cameo role in this movie. Haven't seen him around for a little bit of time lately, but he's in this movie. And all I'm going to say is that he plays a piano player, and I won't tell you anything more than that. You'll have to see the movie to find out the details. But let me give you a clue in on this right off the bat. This is definitely a dramatic movie. If you kind of like the fun-loving, smiling, funny, engaging, gregarious Will Smith that we all know and love, again, he is one of the top 3 entertainers in the world. Everybody knows Will Smith. Everybody loves Will Smith, basically. And that's fine, but I just want to warn you ahead of time, this is not one of his light, comedic, funny, engaging type Will Smith movies that you might be used to. This is a very serious, sobering, dramatic role that he attempts to play. And I will say this, in my estimation, before we get any further and you go and check this movie out, I don't think the movie is perfect and told in a perfect way, the way that it's shown and that it's shot, but I will say the performances in the movie, you ever seen a movie where you didn't like the whole movie together, but you could definitely think of different parts in the movie as you go back and think about it. Boy, I really like that, really hit me, that struck me, that was really good. This is kind of one of those movies for me. I'm giving it a positive review only because the characters do such a good job in many of the scenes. I'm just not really thrilled with the way the story's told, and when you go to see this movie, I think you'll know what I'm talking about. The movie clocks in at just under about 2 hours long, and there's a relationship in this movie. See, first of all, the reason it's kind of a sobering and a serious movie is I want you to understand that Will Smith's character in this movie has had a very tragic event happen in his life. If you were paying attention during the beginning of that trailer, he made a very profound statement that it only took God 7 days to finish the world, and it only took me, his character, 7 seconds to shatter mine. That's a very telling statement in the beginning of that film as to what happens to Will Smith's character in this movie. And one of the things is he's, because of what's happened to him, he wants to do good, some good things for some very deserving people because he feels he is so undeserving. And again, not giving anything away here. I want you to see the film to figure out why. But one of the interesting parts that I enjoyed in this movie was the relationship between Will Smith's character and Rosario Dawson's character as it developed throughout the film. He's very, very reluctant at first of getting together with her at all and getting to know her at all. She doesn't understand what he's all about. This guy just enters into her life and starts telling her he wants to help her with this and with that. And that doesn't make any sense naturally, but I'll tell you what, that relationship develops very beautifully along. One thing to note before I finish up my review here, this movie is rated PG-13, and it's one of those movies that I call kind of a strong PG-13. You have to know your kids. I would advise this probably isn't for the young kiddos to go to see this movie, in my estimation, because of some of the language that's used and these themes. As you realize what this movie is really about and where it goes in the end, you'll understand that it's got very adult, older folk type themes in this movie. So again, make the choice for yourself. It's rated PG-13, but I call it a strong 13, so be careful there. But for the most part, I think if you like Will Smith, if you like Rosario Dawson, Woody Harrelson, Barry Pepper, you like these characters, they make a very engaging cast in a not perfect, but a good film. I think you need to go check out 7 Pounds.